Hello everybody! So in today's video I'm filming something that I've wanted to film for a very long time, and I'm finally getting around to filming it, and that is how I overcame being shy and all my tips and tricks and things that I did to overcome being shy and be more of a confident person. If you knew me in high school from ages like 12 to 18, I was extremely shy, and I know that's really hard to believe since I have a YouTube channel and I film myself talking to myself and then uploading it on the internet, but it never used to be like that. I feel like I've grown and changed so much in the past few years, and I have so much advice that I'd love to share with you all. For some reason right now I just feel really compelled to film this video. I literally wrote a whole entire book of notes. I also believe that there's a very big difference between being shy and being shy to the point where it's hindering your life and finding that you're missing out on opportunities because of your shyness, and you find that you can't build strong relationships or friendships with people because of it. I 100% know the feeling of what it feels like. And I first off just want to say that it's gonna be okay. You are gonna be okay. You're not alone. So many people are going through the same thing as you or have gone through the same thing as you. And I want you to see this video as a glimmer of hope, because if I can do it, you can do it. I have 8 topics that I want to cover in this video, and I'm just gonna kind of dive into them and dissect them. I will leave timestamps down below in the description because I feel like this video is going to be very long. And I understand that some people don't want to hear me talk for that long, so feel free to jump to the sections that you want to hear about or learn about or just listen to. And on that note, let's just get straight into it. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the cause of shyness. For me personally, this was insecurity and low self-esteem. That also coincides with the fact that 12 years old was the age that I started going on social media, and I genuinely believe that social media plays such a massive role in the reason why so many teenagers have low self-esteem. But that is a whole nother video that I could talk about for hours and hours. But let's get back to the main topic: confidence. Alright, learn to love and look after yourself. This is done by consistently practicing self-care. This isn't something that happens overnight, but it's done gradually by constantly and consistently practicing self-care and self-love. You owe yourself the love that you freely give to other people. Please remember that. Something I started off doing weekly was having a set day called my self-care day, and I still do this to this day, and it's something that I feel like everyone needs. Even if you're a guy, if you're a girl, 30, if you're 40, if you're 80, if you're 100, everyone needs a self-care day. I stand by that. On this day, I get everything done that I need to do. I write down a list. Write down a list of everything that you want to do that day. Do all the little jobs to look after yourself. So for me, this is going in the bath, putting a face mask on, putting a hair mask on. I shave my entire body. I put a scrub on. I read a book. I watch a movie. And also on this day, I make sure that I spend time with my own company, and I always try to not hang out with someone on this specific day, just because I feel like everyone needs a day where it's just them to themselves. That's enough about self-love. I'm gonna move on to the next topic: expanding your comfort zone. I am an advocate for this. It's essentially a little bubble that our brain has created. In fact, I feel like bubble is too much of a good word for it. It's more like a barrier. And the things inside that are the things that we feel comfortable with, the situations that we're comfortable with, the scenarios that we're comfortable with, and anything outside that little bubble makes us nervous. We tend to shy away from it and we tend to not do it. Something that I've learned in the past year or so is that your comfort zone is the enemy of progress. Remember that. Learn to acknowledge the feeling of being nervous, then channel that emotion in a positive way and reinforce it by going, oh, but I'm going out of my comfort zone, which means I'm going to learn something, I'm going to grow, or I'm going to experience something that I haven't experienced before, which, spoiler, is actually a good thing. It's something that we shouldn't be afraid of. One of the biggest things that I found to help me was setting little challenges for myself. I'm gonna give you a little list. This can be going for a walk alone, ordering something in a cafe without rehearsing it in your head first. This was a big one for me. This is something that I never ever used to do. I always used to hate ordering food. Wearing something that you usually wouldn't wear. This is something I still struggle with. Maintaining eye contact during a conversation. This is something that I struggled with. Oh my god. In high school, I was dating this guy, and I remember that I literally could not look him in the eye, and I remember he was like, "Why aren't you looking at me?" I think the most annoying thing about being shy is that someone who's confident doesn't realize how daunting eye contact or ordering food or going for a walk on your own is. When I was going through all of this, I thought I was the only one and I thought I was weird, and I think that made it so much worse. So I just want this video to be a realization that you're not the only person that's going through this. It's something that people don't really talk about, because obviously the people going through it are shy people, so they're obviously not going to talk about it. Another challenge you can set is calling someone. This is something that I hate doing still. I don't enjoy it, but it's something that I know that I have to do, and it's really not that bad. Or you can go shopping alone. Once again, something that I just never used to do, and literally went out before this video, went shopping on my own. Crazy. Enter a building or a party by yourself. My final little challenge for you is have a conversation with a stranger. I have learned to love talking to strangers. Try not to worry or overthink about it, because chances are you're never going to see them again. It's just a fleeting conversation, but some of the conversations you can have with someone are so great. So my advice with all of these scenarios is to start with the one that least scares you, and then slowly build yourself up to the one that's most daunting. And at the start, these scenarios will be so hard and so scary, but the more you do them and the more you repeat them, the easier it will get. And that, my friend, is your comfort zone expanding. The next piece of advice that I have is don't isolate yourself. This makes me really sad to think about, but I remember it was the school holidays, and I think I would have been about 14, 15. And for the whole entire 6 weeks that I had off school, I didn't hang out with any of my friends. I didn't really go outside. I just kind of stayed in my bedroom for the whole time. And looking back, it's so sad, and I just never want anyone to ever feel that way or go through that. When you're shy, the main thing you want to do is isolate yourself from people, because you feel most content when it's quiet and when you're on your own. And I know this from experience, isolating yourself is the worst thing that you can possibly do, simply because it just makes it so much worse. Spend time with your family, go out for a walk, take your dog, say hello to strangers, message a friend to hang out. Don't wait for them to message you, you message them. And the most important part is follow through on the plan. No matter how much you wake up dreading not wanting to go, go. The next one is people aren't judging you. For some reason, and I don't know why, I can't explain it, but I always used to think whenever I went to the park or the shops or at school, I always thought that everyone was looking at me and judging me. And looking back now, that whole idea just sounds so silly and just wrong in the nicest way possible. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I mean this in a good way, and hopefully it will make you feel a little bit better. No one cares about you that much. And here's why. People are too invested in themselves and their own problems. They have their own things going on to care about some random stranger at the shops. If you have a presentation at school, or you have to speak in front of the class, or you might just have to say here when the teacher calls the roll, I guarantee, and I can speak from personal experience, that when you're doing a presentation in front of the class, 99.99% of those students watching you are thinking about their presentation, and they're thinking about how nervous they are for their presentation. Have faith in yourself, and don't let unsolicited opinions or advice from strangers or your friends or your family bring you down. The next one is a big one, and that is get rid of any expectations, stop overthinking, and stop planning scenarios in your head. Overthinking is something that I used to do a lot, and I would be lying if I said that I never overthink, because even now I still catch myself overthinking sometimes. But in every single case where I've overthought something, it was never as bad as I thought it was going to be. Getting rid of expectations or any premeditated opinions about anything means that you can't be disappointed. There is absolutely no way that we can predict what's going to happen, or how a scenario is going to turn out, or how a conversation's going to go. I know it's so much easier said than done, but just try your very, very hardest to not think about it. And then when you catch yourself overthinking or planning a scenario in your head, acknowledge it and then replace it with a positive thought. Every time you become consciously aware that you're thinking something, it will strengthen new neural pathways in your brain, which will eventually create an automatic response to respond that way when something like this happens again, if that makes sense. I feel like that doesn't make sense. If you acknowledge that you're thinking a negative thought and then replacing it with a positive thought, you'll eventually just think the positive thoughts. I hope that makes sense. It probably doesn't. Start afresh. So in my second and third year of high school, so I would have been about 14 to 15 years old, and I used to hate school so much, because when you're shy, school is probably the worst place to be in. I used to sit in the car before school and I used to bawl my eyes out crying to my mom, being like, I don't want to go. Me in school just did not go well. In fact, I didn't really go to school for a little bit of time. Oh, it was just not a good time. It makes me sad when I think about it, and I just don't want anyone to ever go through that because it was so awful. Because of this, I ended up actually moving schools in year 10, which ended up being one of the best things that I ever could have done. And that was the pinnacle point for me where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I decided that I was going to use that opportunity and fresh start of moving schools to try and overcome my shyness. And all my grades were just really bad because I literally wasn't going to school. I went in and tried to fake being confident, and looking back, I was still so shy, but it was nothing compared to what I was like before that. That whole entire year at my new school was really rough for other different reasons, but kind of stemming from my shyness. It definitely wasn't easy, and I definitely had a lot of setbacks. Here I am today. I have amazing people around me. I have amazing friends. I have this YouTube channel, which I never ever thought that I would ever have. It's crazy. And it's weird because I'm so different to how I used to be, but I'm still the same person, and I still had this person inside of me. I just didn't know how to bring it out. Starting afresh doesn't necessarily mean moving schools. It can be something as simple as getting a haircut or changing your hair color or buying some new clothes. I find that when I want to start a new habit or do something new, I just need a little thing to represent a fresh start, if that makes sense. Let that chapter be over and start a new page. This is your life. Every time you wake up, you are given a new opportunity to have a fresh start. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is opposites attract. In my final 2 years of high school, I actually ended up becoming best friends with a girl who was super opposite to me in terms of confidence. She was so confident, outgoing, she knew everyone, she was friends with everyone, she was so funny. She's still like one of the funniest people that I know. She was the reason why I was able to grow so much, because she exposed me to so many situations and scenarios and places and people that I wouldn't usually meet. I saw this quote somewhere and I don't think I saved it or anything, but it stuck by me, and it was saying how you often see friends who are very opposite to each other, and it was just saying how opposites genuinely do attract. And I think opposite friendships are so amazing because you both learn things from each other. And for me, she helped me so much in my progression, and I genuinely don't think I would be where I was today if it wasn't for her. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. Hello, I love you, you're great. Once you've become a little bit more confident, try and become friends with someone that's still on a way more confident scale than you. They'll be able to make you feel more at ease and will expose you to environments that you wouldn't usually go into. And I often find that if you have introverted friends, then you'll tend to be introverted because you'll just do introverted things together, if that makes sense. I used to be so intimidated by people that were confident. I never ever used to talk to them at school because I was just so intimidated by them. Basically what I'm trying to say is, don't shy away from confident people and think, oh, they're confident, I can't be friends with them, because you totally can. The final little excerpt from this video is, it's okay to have setbacks, all part of the process. Even now, I still find myself having setbacks. Don't give up, it's all part of the journey. Even the most confident person still has things to work on and still has things to improve on themselves. Constantly growing and learning and experiencing new things, and that's the whole point of life. Focus on your successes and congratulate yourself on the small wins, not just one big win. So if you do a small thing like paying for some food at the counter, congratulate yourself on that. Don't just wait for one big massive event because you'll lose motivation. I'm grateful that I'm able to share my experiences, and I want you to know that you can get through this too. So everybody, that marks the end of the video. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that this video was able to help at least one person out, even if it's in the tiniest way possible. And I just hope that me sharing my experience makes you feel a little bit less alone. And if you are going through something like this, you can always send me a message on my Instagram, or you can message me on my Twitter, or you can just leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for listening to my rambles. This video is probably gonna be very long. If you have any video suggestions or anything that you'd like me to film, please leave a comment down below or message me on Instagram or Twitter. Yeah. I think that's everything I need to say. I love you all so much. It never changes. It never will. You're all amazing and you've got this. You're gonna be okay. I shall see you in my next video. If you want to watch my next video, bye! Mwah.